Hello, everybody. You're listening to the Big Chill Podcast. This is episode 19, The Montana Situation. Welcome, everyone, to the Big Chill Podcast. Another exciting week of NFL. A lot of good comebacks again. Another blown Falcons lead. But first, let's say hello to the boys. Sam, the bubble has not burst yet on our hockey bet. Thanks to the stars, we still are alive and correctly picking the series winners. I have Lightning in 6. You have Lightning in 7. Game 6 is today. You need a big Stars win here.
I mean, I'm still doing this amazing ability of just not looking it up. I just completely avoid it to try and eliminate any sort of like knowledge retention or anything. So that's what's happened, yeah?
Yeah, so we really won't go into it too much. We can talk about it probably by the time the next podcast, it should be done. So we can discuss a little bit then. But yeah, the Lightning won game 4 in overtime on a very questionable penalty call. And then game 5, the Stars came back and won in overtime to push it to a game 6. So really good 2 overtime games back to back. And now they play again Monday night, which is unfortunate because they purposely chose not to play Sunday because of the NFL, but are now playing Monday and potentially the best Monday Night Football game of the year. So they're not going to get much viewership there.
That's going to be disappointing for the 1 out of 5 total viewers who to decide instead to watch the NFL.
Yeah, me included. And that voice you hear is Mr. Eddie Hewitt out in Paris. Still no internet, I see.
No, had another 2 hours on the phone with them this morning. Everyone can breathe a heavy sigh of relief because they have assured me that at the very latest I will have the internet by October 25th.
2021.
Yeah, the woman told me this as if I was supposed to be grateful for the help that she had provided for me. She said, "Don't worry, Mr. Hewitt, I promise you, at the very latest you will have the internet October 25th.
For those who are tuning in late, this is now September 28th. So you're looking at another month of no internet.
Yeah. Eddie, if I were you, I would honestly go back to her and say, just to confirm you do mean 2020.
Yeah,
so all she's done is confirm that there is an October 25th that you'll have internet.
Well, the thing that worried me, right, is she then put me on hold because I'm trying to pick up this temporary internet box that it just will run on 4G that they wouldn't give me last time. And supposedly I'm going back tomorrow. And I should hopefully get it. I'm going back to the same store, which is a big risk.
Round 2.
Yeah, exactly. And so we'll see how that one goes. Another lunch break will probably be wasted. But she put me on hold to try to she was making the appointment for me. And then it just connected to someone else. So I just listening to the hold music for 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden this guy was like, "Hi, Orange Support, how can I help you?" And I was like, "Oh, this is not a good sign." And I then had to make the appointment with him. He had no context. She hadn't said to this guy "Hey, you need to deal with this," and she hadn't moved me on to some other team. And then I said, "Just so you know, your colleague has promised me the internet by October 25th. Can you take a look at my file and see if that's a reasonable prediction?" And he looked at my file and then just said, "I can't tell you when you're going to have the internet." I was like, oh, God.
So she was just lying.
I think she just picked what sounds reasonable, not too close where he'll, think that is right around the corner, but also not too far away that he'll just go elsewhere.
Did you get your call back the 72 hours, wasn't it? They were always saying.
Oh, no, they didn't call me. No, I called them this morning. That was after the 72 hours had expired.
Oh my days!
Credit to them. They are keeping me hanging on. The fact that they've managed, they've just the little carrot and stick approach with me, and it's just always just out of reach. And haven't canceled my contract. So.
When will you ever get to the point where this isn't worth the internet?
I almost that's the thing is I have to at a certain moment. I feel too committed at this point to back out and go for a different provider. I have to see this one through. I will have the internet from Orange no matter what. I will not give up. The question is, when do I have to just rethink my entire life so that I have to pretend I'm living in like 1985? That's the question I have to figure out here.
Well, those land rollers will come good.
Yeah, but imagine if you do shift to that, then you have to go the opposite way, and then suddenly you've been given internet, and it's as if you've gone back to the future, and you've now jumped into and now you're just like, what is internet? Wow, what is this computer thing?
They give him some 56K modem.
Well, that's the thing, right? If all goes to plan tomorrow and I pick up this 4G router, the speeds are going to blow my mind. I'm gonna maybe be able to use Netflix, maybe.
So let's get started on the football. Very exciting week. Not so great, I guess, for my picks from what I've heard, but we'll recap that on Thursday. I wanted to actually get started and get it right out of the way so we don't have to talk about it anymore. The Giants' defeat at the hands of the 49ers' second string offense and defense.
Third string, maybe.
Yeah, second string generous.
I mean, it's not a good sign. Like, I put it this way. I'm a Niners fan. I read like Niners Nation every day. I follow them like on lots of social media.
Like such a loser. Niners Nation. You can just say Niners fan site. The fact you said Niners Nation is such a loser.
Giving it a shout out, maybe they'll send me something for free. But I read that, and it's not a good sign when there were people like making plays or like never heard of that guy. Like no idea who that guy is.
So in that game, Eddie, Mullins looked pretty good. Granted, he's playing against potentially the worst secondary in the history of the NFL. So my cousin messaged me after the game and basically said, oh, man, the Giants, they don't look so good, huh? And I said, well, the issue is they maybe have, in all honesty, 4 to 5 people on their starting lineup that would be a starter somewhere else. And defense-wise, maybe 2. So they're playing against one of the worst defenses I've ever seen a team put together. But Mullins looked pretty good. I mean, 25 out of 36, 343 and a touchdown. It's not bad.
Yeah, it's a little dink and donkey. That would be my only criticism of him. And I think even when you look back on his starts that he got a couple years ago, there's not a lot of deep stuff. So he is kind of a game manager. And on a good team like the Niners, that works. But I don't think in the like Jimmy G versus Mullins debate, my issue is I don't think you're going to have Mullins in a playoff game and he's going to win the game for you. And even for the biggest Jimmy G doubters, like last year he had several game-winning drives. I don't know. I have zero faith if the Niners are down 4 with 2 minutes left and they get the ball back. I'm not putting faith in Mullins to work the way down the field.
So you're still going with Jimmy G?
Yeah.
Well, do you know that Mullins is the first quarterback to throw for 220-plus yards in 9 straight starts since Joe Montana?
It doesn't
like
surprise
that
me
random
in the
stat?
sense. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me in the sense that he's done it. It just surprises me that no one else has done it in between those 2 periods. But that is a good stat. Yeah, I think Jimmy G. It's Jimmy G's job to lose, and he needs more time this season. The question mark for the Niners is more. They have lots of outs in the Jimmy G contract, and the question is more like, did they get to the end of this year and start thinking about those outs, and then think about another quarterback to bring in?
Yeah,
that to me is the question.
You're going to have to wait and see into what round of the playoffs they lose, and that will decide.
Yeah, well, I mean, yesterday, although you have to say this, right? You kind of asked me the question a week ago, like, are the Niners done? And yesterday was a pretty good day for them in the sense that the Cardinals lost, the Rams lost, they won, and okay, the Seahawks won, but it still put them right back into the NFC West picture, And so, okay, they've played the Giants and the Jets, so you don't want to go overboard on the fact that they've managed to scrape a couple wins through with an injury hit team. But in a way, like we discussed last week, like if they can just keep this going for a few more weeks while players do come back into the fold, obviously not people like Bosa and stuff, but in terms of getting Kittle back and Garoppolo back, Deebo Samuel back, I mean, the positive for the Niners yesterday was that Ayuk looked really good. I think that was
Yeah, I told you he was good.
Yeah,
I said that when we
was
did
the
our
big
preview.
takeaway. Now the really worrying sign for the Niners yesterday was the long snapper, because that was not a good. I don't know what was going on there.
You bring up a pretty good point. I just randomly thought of it. The Niners beat the Jets and the Giants in back-to-back weeks. If the Jets and the Giants put together one team, do you think they could be competitive?
No.
I mean, if you really think about it, they don't solve the QB issue because now you're choosing between Darnold and Jones, which is just a lesser of two evils. You still really don't have a great running back. You don't have a great receiving core. Your defense is still awful.
Yeah.
They would maybe win 2 to 3 more games than they're going to win individually this year.
Oh, so you mean
maybe
3 games?
Yes. And who would coach? Who's the better coach? They could both be fired by the end of the year.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a very valid point. But yeah, no, they wouldn't. Even
we should just make the New York football team, and
the Washington football team.
Yeah, and can
one
I understand
we'll call the New York Redskins? Okay, we'll just go right there.
Yeah, I'd love for them just to take the name and the branding. It's already out there. Everyone knows it.
I understand that I mess up by still calling them the Redskins, but I don't understand why announcers and broadcasters can't understand that it's the Washington football team, similar to how a bunch of soccer clubs have like the Toronto FC and like what's the other one? LA FC. Like there's all these clubs that broadcasters just can't wrap their head. Just call them Washington. They'll call them like the footballers, the football team. It's the dumbest thing. Like how stupid are you?
Red Zone's the worst because you have Hansen and he'll be like, now we're going to go get this clip from the football team. It's like, just say Washington, right?
Just say Washington.
It sounds like someone who doesn't know about it. It sounds like someone that doesn't know about the sport when it's like, this football team's going to do something now.
Well, the thing is, maybe week 1, it was kind of a joke and like a little funny point. But now we're week 3. To just give up on it and like just say Washington.
Some people call them the footballers. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
But here's the other thing too is people say just the city name. Like people will say like, oh, we're gonna go to Mile High Stadium now because Denver just scored a like highlight from Denver. They don't necessarily always say the Broncos, or they'll be like, let's go see what Russell Wilson and Seattle are doing right now. Like they don't like, oh my God, if I don't say the Seahawks, people won't know which Seattle it is.
Yeah. It's just it blows my mind that they can't wrap their head around the fact that they're just the Washington football team, not Washington football team. They're the Washington football. It's so easy to understand. How do they not get this?
Which one annoys you more there? Them emphasizing that, the Washington football team, or when people do the New York football Giants?
Oh, the New York football Giants is kind of annoying.
Like when you get that guy who insists, like every time they say it, you're like, well, the New York football Giants look like they're going to have a good year this year.
Because there's probably 6 people still alive that remember the New York baseball Giants. Yeah.
I was going to say, is that a thing? Like, why would you ever call them football?
Yeah, back in like 1925 when it was the New York Giants baseball team. But Eddie, I also brought up the Joe Montana to touch on the Joe Montana news of Sunday. Did you hear that story?
No. Yeah, so he saved like a child from being kidnapped in like a playpen.
Yeah, his granddaughter. So someone broke into their home while they were watching their granddaughter and tried to steal the baby. And Montana apparently tackled the person, ripped the baby back out, and like held the person down while the police came.
I love how you said rip the baby out like it was some sort of like football thing. So he picked the snap and threw the baby.
Yeah, the baby died.
The baby.
Yes. The baby died, but you do not get that baby.
Joe Montana's baby.
That's disappointing because like the only thing 2020 was missing probably was like the new version of the Lindbergh baby. so like a high profile celebrity. I mean, calling Joe Montana a high profile celebrity might be a slight exaggeration in 2020, but a nice missing child linked to a famous person could have really pushed just secured 2020's title as the year of the millennium.
The only downside to that story is that you then read into it, and it was a 38-year-old woman who tried to steal the baby. So it makes this like Joe Montana like thwarted a kidnapping a little less heroic, because it was probably just this crazy lady that went in to steal the baby, and Montana probably just pushed her down.
Like, do we have any motive from her? Was she just stealing it? Did she like know? Was there a ransom?
Yeah, I don't know.
What, a child? Or
I hope we get more details later on. It could make for a good story. But
I like when I read it as well, because it was basically they were saying like he attempted to de-escalate the situation. It's like, how do you de-escalate someone trying to run away with a child? Excuse me.
Oh.
Do you mind returning the child?
You give me the child, and I'll give you this doll. Call it even. Pretty close.
I'll sign this football for you. But in fairness, given the current climate, Sam, at least he didn't just shoot her. So I mean, we got that going right. If Joe Montana can rescue his own grandchild without killing someone, then maybe the rest.
There's hope left for 2020.
Yeah,
Random children are being shot. Okay, there's hope.
Now, the great one would be if someone tried to steal Joe Namath's grandchild. Would Joe Namath even be sober enough to
be drunk? He just signed the baby and then let it go.
Yeah. I want to kiss you.
I want to kiss you.
The person's just running away with the baby, and he's just like, I want to kiss you. I want to kiss you.
That'd be such a surreal thing.
So I would say that could bring us on to the Jets, but I really don't want to discuss the Jets too much.
Yeah, what about them?
I mean, we said going into it, right? Sam asked us that question. How big would the spread have to be until we'd consider taking the Jets?
We said about 20.
Both of us said approaching 20, right? So
we were way off.
Yeah. I mean, they're just terrible. There's nothing more needs to be said about that game. You can't read into how good the Colts are in any way. It's just the Jets are awful.
Yeah. And Sam Darnold looked.
Oh, I just loved that they were coming out about him saying like that's probably the worst game he's played as a pro. And it's like that. It's amazing how you can find those new heights. Like most people go on like a trajectory of like improving themselves. Like he seems to be finding ways. I mean, what was it like? That 2 pick sixes, a red zone interception. Yeah. It was crazy.
It was pretty awful. I did like the announcers mentioned during the Giants-Niners game that Daniel Jones has only had one NFL game without a turnover. That's a pretty crazy. I mean, I know his career isn't that long yet, but still, you would expect that just every once in a while, people just dropped the interceptions you threw, just through pure luck.
Well, that's the issue. Is it's not interceptions. It's the stupid fumbles. I think he has the most fumbles through however many games he's played. I think now he's played a full season, maybe, or something close. 14 or 16 games. He has the second most, or he's tied for the first or second most fumbles ever by a quarterback. He just can't hold on to the ball.
He would have played the full season, right? Because his first game was when you were in Paris a year ago.
And it was a pretty good game.
Yeah. He got off to a great start. So for anyone being super optimistic about Joe Burrow or any of the other rookie quarterbacks out there, they could still turn into Daniel Jones.
So maybe a good segue would be to the actual good team in New York, which people don't even realize is the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah. I mean, again, we kind of talked about, I think we all picked the Bills to win this, I think. And so, I mean, it was a weird game because they were in total control and then they just fell apart. And Frank and I were speaking during the game. I actually think in the end, the fact that they had the game-winning drive to win it, even if they were a little bit lucky maybe on that flag on the 4th down that kept the drive alive, it was a little bit weak. Like it probably was like a penalty, but it's still one of those, like on a game-ending play, you probably don't want to see called.
Yeah.
But the takeaway for them from that still is that you believe even more in Josh Allen and their offense. Because in the same way when I spoke about like the doubt over Mullen, like, are you going to have the game-winning drive in you when the pressure's on? That was a huge game for the Bills to just kind of throw down that marker within that division of the fact that they're not going to do the thing that the Bills have done for the last couple of decades, which is lose that game.
Yeah, they looked I mean, that first half, they looked phenomenal. I don't really understand what happened in the second half. The only thing I will say that kind of makes me nervous is their run defense was just non-existent. I mean, the whole game, even in that first half when they were blowing them out, the Rams were still running the ball like crazy. They were getting like 10, 15 yards at a clip. And that really makes me nervous when eventually they're going to have to play the Patriots, and the Patriots will exploit the shit out of that. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots just run the ball 85% of the time between Newton and Sony Michel, things like that. So that kind of scares me. But yeah, Allen, man, he's fun to watch. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Phillip Rivers because he's a little kooky. Did you see the one time he had the penalty? Oh, he got like his face mask grabbed, and he just went ballistic and yelled at the ref so much that he then got an unsportsmanlike conduct for it. It was the one where he fumbled it because what's his face? Aaron Donald like kind of grabbed his face mask or his horse collar or something, and he just went ballistic on the official. It's just fun to watch. He's like a very like emotional player, so he's fun. I like watching the Bills now. It's crazy to think
he has the potential to inherit the Phil Rivers throne. He just doesn't have quite the same level of inner rage, and he also doesn't have the extreme Christian beliefs. You know, like he's not out there having 59 children and stuff. Yeah, I mean, that's the weirdest thing to say, though, right? The Bills are legitimately fun to watch. Like, they've been good for a couple of years, but they've been good on the back of just a really good defense, and they haven't actually been enjoyable to watch. Whereas now I'd put them in the they're definitely in the top 10 most enjoyable teams. You know, if they're playing a game, like if they're ever going to be whenever they're going to be in those sort of late afternoon kickoffs and there's only 2 other games on, they might be the game I want to watch, which is saying a lot.
Yeah, that was a great game. And we also talked about it during live that I think it's going to be a good confidence boost for Josh Allen, having that in his back pocket, a big comeback drive win against what looks like a potential playoff team, you know, depending, we've talked about how the NFC West ends up, but a good team nonetheless. To have that comeback and, you know, kind of get that confidence boost could really help come playoff time.
Yeah. Maybe opportunity to flip to from one team that taught us that they kind of have the ability to win in them to the team that's showing us week in, week out that they have the ability to lose in the Falcons.
What was it this time? Like a 16-point lead? Was it a 16?
Yeah, they were up 26-10 in the fourth quarter. And they calculated, they kept showing the graphic over and over again during the game. But obviously they had a 98% win projection a week ago. And they had 99% win projection this week. And then also they obviously lost in week 1. And I think their win projection topped out in week 1 at 60%. So they've lost games from a 60% chance of winning, a 98% chance of winning, and a 99% chance of winning, which is pretty spectacular. Now, here's the stat that really stunned me from that game, though. How many points do you think they've given up in the second half of their 3 games so far?
55.
Sam?
I'll probably be about early 50, so like 50, 51.
74.
I mean, What are they doing?
Their second half score in games so far is 74-33.
Wow, that is bad.
I mean, that's so exciting, right? Just to watch.
Well, this actually, I mean, I was thinking about it this morning. It's really the difference between let's say, good coach, above average good, to a great coach, is that first half to second half transition, and kind of how you come out in the second half, change your game plans, understand kind of what the opposing team's going to do to change their game plan so you can kind of counter it. Bill Belichick obviously is amazing at that. You know, he can go in the first half and then come out the second half and they run a completely different offense, completely different defense. You know, he shifts really well. Dan Quinn, on the other hand, is notorious for having potentially the worst Super Bowl loss in history, you know, losing to the Pats in the second half, and now is kind of showing that it must be just how he is as a coach. He's a good coach, but he's obviously not a great coach because he can't adjust in second halves. I mean, this is 2 straight weeks. And, it's the other one who kind of comes to mind with me for that is Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien is a decent coach, but he just gets out-coached at the ends of games week in and week out, especially this week. He put up 21 points in the first half and then just nothing the second half. I mean, they should have beaten the Steelers or kept it much closer than they actually ended up doing. So I don't know what you do with a coach like Dan Quinn. I mean, can just have a coach who is a decent coach but is never going to win those big games, is going to blow it at the end? Is that something you want your fans to endure week in and week out? Or do you get rid of him and try someone else?
Well, he has to be the first coach fired at this point. I think if you're Falcons.
No, Adam Gase has to be the first coach fired.
Yeah, surely
No,
Gase.
They said Gase might be gone. If they lose Thursday night, they say they might fire him Friday morning.
I would have fired Dan Quinn this morning. So that's what I mean. I actually wouldn't have let Dan Quinn go to sleep last night still thinking he was the Atlanta Falcons head coach. I would have been like, hey,
He'll be
Dan.
an amazing owner.
I'd been like, hey, Dan, I know you're probably a little bit under pressure and you're probably not sleeping that well right now. So I want to relieve some of that pressure and just let you know, schedule's clear for a while. You're sleep in tomorrow. Don't worry about things. Life's okay. But I mean, I saw Dan Quinn's now has a losing record since the Super Bowl. So there's that. He went from, nearly winning the Super Bowl, should have winning the Super Bowl, to now a losing record since that moment. The crazy thing, I mean, you're right. A good coach, it's all about the adjustments they make in game, in particular in the second half. The issue I have with the Falcons and Dan Quinn, it's sometimes not even adjustments. It's as if in late in games, they just forget that, like, if you're winning, the clock is your friend, and all you need to do is keep the clock running. Like, that's the crazy. You'll see them. They get the ball back, and it's like, okay, we're up a touchdown with 3 minutes left. The other team has 1 timeout. We need to make sure they burn all their timeouts before they get the ball back. We need to not stupidly blow a timeout ourselves. And we need to basically make sure we're pretty much just running the ball every time and at least getting safe completions to just keep this clock running. And they'll get the ball back, and you kind of think like, all right, worst case scenario, the other team's getting it back with like 45 seconds. And then all of a sudden the team has the ball back and the Falcons killed like 18 seconds off the clock. You're like, what are you guys doing? Like, and they did that against the Patriots in the Super Bowl. That's what they did. Like, they would have, I mean, that's that stat, right? They would have been better off just taking a knee on every play in the second half than on the actual plays that they called. And I mean, maybe that's what they need to do. Maybe that needs to be like late in games. They're just like, all right, Matt Ryan, you just take a knee. We don't care.
I mean, you can't let up 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. I mean, that blows my mind. And if you look at it only took the Bears 9 plays, 2 minutes, 50 seconds, first TD, 3 plays, 59 seconds, second TD, 5 plays, 2 minutes, third TD. I mean,
and how long how long were the Falcons' possessions between those touchdowns?
Oh, probably like 5 seconds.
Yeah, because I mean, that's the other issue, right? I mean, their secondary is terrible. We kind of knew that after week 1, and we discussed that after week 1. Their secondary is awful. They might rival the Giants for the worst secondary in the league. But so
hey, let us have that, all right? Let the Giants have that.
So in a way, it's not surprising
nothing.
it's not surprising that they can give up like touchdowns quite quickly. But it's just, chew some clock when you get the ball back.
I mean, it is genuinely going to have to be like Eddie said, right? Where they're like, well, whatever we try and do to stop this rot and this fiasco of these fourth quarters, we're just going to have to basically just take knees now and just eat clock. Like, that's all we're going to do. But interestingly enough, the other side, so the Bears had how that team is 3-0.
They could be the worst 3-0 team
right?
in the world.
I said that to Frank during the game.
Yeah.
Are they the worst 3-0 team in NFL history?
They might be up there. And then you've got the Trubisky Foles coming in. Like, Trubisky wasn't doing anything. Foles come in. Suddenly they get driving. Don't get me wrong. I've now gone with the Bears and the spread, I think, twice out of my 3 weeks and got them. but they're lucky. They need to be more
now,
consistent. They're not consistent.
Sam, with big dick Nick coming in, there's no way you're not you're picking the Bears every week. Even in their bye week, you're probably going to pick them to win.
Oh yeah,
University of Arizona graduate Nick Foles. I mean, yeah, but how bad of a team? How bad of a 3-0 team can you be if you bench your QB? Like, how many undefeated teams are benching their starter?
But to me, even in a way, right, then I feel sorry for Trubisky, because here's the point. If they were that close to, like, pulling him, they should have let Foles start the season. Because if the leash you're giving him was that short, you can't pull him when it's like, guys, they were within touching distance, because it was 26-10 when he got pulled. So they're 2 scores down and they're 2-0, and they're like, no, sorry, Mitch, this is done. This is over. like I know you've had like a game-winning drive, right?
Well, yeah, and
this season
he wasn't doing that poorly. It wasn't like it was a Sam Darnold performance. I mean, just to throw out the numbers, he was 13 of 22 for 130 yards, had a TD, had that bad pick, and his QBR was 60, which is an above average QBR. That's not a bad QBR.
Wasn't the issue that he just wasn't connecting any deep passes with that? It was just
they were just like stagnant.
Yep.
You know, they really weren't doing much.
And look, right, they looked way better when Foles came in. Like, that's indisputable.
Well,
so
Foles threw a pick as soon as he came in.
He did, but it was still kind of a good you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it was a good play, but they did definitely look better with Foles. But I just think you just hung Trubisky out to dry, basically. I mean,
and then you made him sit on a water cooler. Couldn't even give him a seat on the bench. They benched him, and then he sat on a low Gatorade cooler. It wasn't even a high cooler. He had to like squat down to sit on it.
But it must be sad. It must be a sad thing, the realization that that's probably it now for your season, right?
Well, like I said to Frank during the game, I think if you're the head coach now, whether or not you say it to him and he doesn't do it, I think you tell him, like, if you want to go and sit in the locker room, you can do that, because we've basically just publicly fired you, and now you're sitting on the sidelines while cameras. You know, one camera is going to be trained on you for the remainder of the game because they're going to wait for the clip. Like, it doesn't matter even if he would have been happy and talking to every player and engaged for 99% of the game. But that one moment when he would have just thought about, like, oh, how am I going to, like, drive home today or something, you know, like some random thought crossed his mind, and they're going to be like glued in on him. Look at Mitch, sad old Mitch over there. Sad Mitch.
He did look particularly sad, though.
I mean, well, here's the thing is, too, we passed the over-under ourselves. I don't know if you know, but I bet on the over 1.5 as the number of times that water coolers, you know, like would play a major theme in any of our podcasts.
What's the other one?
PSG in the Champions League final. Sitting on the cooler on the sideline.
On the cooler. That's the new thing in sports. You sit on the cooler, not on a chair.
Exactly. It shows your hip. It's like the teacher who, like, reverses the chair and sits on it backwards, you know? It's the cool move.
The stereotypical in the movie when the teacher wants to be one with the students.
Yeah,
he switches the seat around.
Exactly. When he's talking to, like, the urban students, and he flips it around to really connect with them, and he goes like, you know, we aren't so different.
Yeah, backwards cap, telling you to pick up the textbook and throw it away.
Backwards cap, backwards chair.
Yeah, William Shakespeare was the Jay-Z of his era.
Yeah,
I would burst into tears if someone said that to me.
Let's rap out these Shakespearean lyrics.
Yeah, let's go outside.
Look at how many times he mentions murder in his plays. He was a real gangster.
Let's get back to the NFC West and discuss the big shakeup that the Arizona Cardinals are no longer defeated, and I do not get my free Dunkin' Donuts coffee today. I was a little disappointed, but I can't be too disappointed because I knew the Lions were a great team, and I knew they were going to come back strong.
You didn't pick the Lions. We have you on record not picking the Lions to win this game, although you did take the points, so you at least got that.
Actually, I knew they would keep it close.
Only one of us in this podcast picked the Lions to win.
Yes.
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean,
that
they
was
were on
me.
an 11-game losing run.
They were due. They were due.
Eddie, that's just because you hate the Cardinals so much that you'd be willing to take anyone against them.
It's not actually, because I've watched just a disproportionate amount of the Cardinals games, because obviously I watched all of week 1. I watched basically all of that game yesterday. And like I said, going into the game, I had enough doubts about the Cardinals based on what I saw from them in the first half, even first 3 quarters of the game against the Niners, to think that there's a little bit too much hype surrounding them. And look, they're still good. I'm not saying that they're not good, but some people were getting a little bit ahead of themselves in anointing Murray as being, an elite quarterback in the league, and also in saying that the Cardinals were suddenly like a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, he definitely came back to earth a little bit this game. 3 picks, 2 of which were pretty poor.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also he just didn't run this time as much. I think he was averaging like near 80 in the first 2 games. And I think in this one I saw he only got like 25, 30, something like that. I think he averaged maybe like 29. So just all his stats just plummeted a bit. And those 3 picks, probably a bit of a reality check.
Yeah, and they were lucky too, right? Like they had that good defensive stand after his 1 pick and held the Lions to a field goal when they were in the red zone. And if the Lions had got a touchdown on that one, the game was probably over. Whereas in the end, obviously, it took the game-winning drive from the Lions. So in that respect, the score maybe even slightly flatters them.
Yeah, that was a big win for the Lions, though. They needed that. I needed that.
Well, they're not winning the division because we can move swiftly on then to the other NFC, like to the other team in their division, in the Packers from the NFC North, who are winning that division. I think we can, even though the Bears are 3-0. I think we can. It would be strange if the Packers don't go on to win that division now.
Yeah, they looked pretty good, and I'll definitely say I did not think they would be this good. They don't. Maybe it's not right to say they don't have superstars because they obviously do in Rodgers, but besides that, I thought they were a little lacking. But their run game looks great, and they didn't even have Devontae Adams last game. And they still threw the shit out of the ball. I mean, he was hitting everyone, and he's just so good, Rodgers. Maybe you were right. His arm never felt better, and it's definitely showing right now.
There's 2 things.
Whew.
There's 2 things. He claimed that his arm felt better than ever, and that the no preseason and the extra time and stuff had helped. That seems to be correct. Like he seems as healthy as he's been in a really long time. The second thing we've talked about every week. The fact that they're playing games with no fans in the stadium, or very few fans in the stadium, and his hard count.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's basically like having kind of almost like an extra man on the field. So it's sort of crazy. Like that might be the biggest, I say secret weapon in that it's not it's in no way a secret, but in the sense that like this kind of extra move that you have, like Frank.
What?
I'm sorry if I distracted you guys. I was getting up the stats for the Packers on ESPN, and they had this commercial, and it was a Nordic track commercial, and this guy was just going in straight beast mode on this Nordic track. It was almost as if you took Mike Tyson and put him in a boxing match, but instead of boxing a person, you just put the straps of like a cable row machine on him, and he was just like going like crazy, punching the air and doing like uppercuts and undercuts. I thought I was going to break the machine off.
I mean, I may not edit this bit out. They've
sold me. As soon as this podcast ends, I'm going to go to Nordic Track and look at what that piece of equipment was, and I might buy it because that guy was in savage mode.
Because honestly, the look on your face was so bizarre that it obviously drew both Sam and I into total silence. And also, it was hard to tell. Were you like stunned? Were you sad? Were you like,
horrified?
I was stunned and a little horrified.
And a little turned on.
Going to break the machine.
It can pull up some weird results when you type Packers into Google.
Yeah. As Sam knows very well.
You just got to go on private browsing. Just go on private browsing.
Normally for Sam, it's the opposite. He's like late night searching for Packers. And then he's like, God, I don't need the NFL scores right now.
Yeah.
I don't care about Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, if I want to get pounded.
If I wanted Green Bay, I would have typed Green Bay. Speaking of which,
Right.
Green Bay, the Packers have the Falcons next week. So how many points are you giving the Falcons ahead at the half before collapsing?
Oh yeah, how big would their lead have to be for me to feel confident about them winning? That is a good question. Like, how much would the Falcons have to be up at halftime, or even let's say how much would they have to be up going into the fourth quarter for you to be like, okay, the Falcons are winning this?
4 touchdowns.
I would say 4 scores. Yeah, it's
12 points.
No, touchdown.
well, okay, yeah, that's true.
Or safeties.
They need to be up 28.
28.
I
would take
to
21.
have a chance to make it to overtime.
I would take like 20. I'd probably take 3 touchdowns.
I would take 20 plus points going into the fourth, I think. I'm disappointed because like my brain was a little bit slow on this one and on my ability to run with the Green Bay Packers quote there. I just thought of the mean gay Packers, and I should have been quicker.
No. Chips
yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys watched that game. It was a good game. It was fun to watch. It was back and forth. But the difference now, I mean, maybe it's just still the first 3 weeks. I guess the question is, how many weeks do you give Drew Brees before you say this is the end of Drew Brees? Because this is now he doesn't do anything but dump it off. I mean, he is so hesitant to throw over 10 yards now. And that was his thing, like five years ago, even 3 years ago, he had such a good touch on that deep ball where he could just drop it in 40 yards down like the sidelines to receivers all the time. It was just so fun to watch that they would like go short, and then hit you at a deep one almost every 5th or 6th play. And now 10 yards is a deep ball to him. So I give it one more week before I really start to get worried that something's wrong. And I don't know what it is.
I give him
just the offense is, is it just Michael Thomas not being out there? Is that it? Is it that easy? I don't know.
I give him one more week because supposedly Michael Thomas is supposed to be back this week. Now, how healthy he is when he comes back, but at least it puts him out there, which changes the way the defense will play and also just gives him, maybe 1 or 2 plays that Michael Thomas can make a game. Also, they're playing the Lions. So if they can't beat the Lions, then
few can.
Just 2 out of 3 so far. But
no one week 3.
Only 2 teams have been able to beat the Lions.
But
I mean, the whole thing of like Michael Thomas needing to be there, you can reverse it and look at Aaron Rodgers, and they put this stupid stat up about 5 times yesterday in the game about how he's only thrown, I think, 2 touchdown passes to a first-round pick ever in his entire career versus Manning, who's done it 260 times or something crazy. Yeah. But I mean, he made Alan Lazard look like a superstar out there and was throwing deep balls over the shoulder to him. You don't need Michael Thomas to do that.
Let's be real too. That Saints offense and Drew Brees in the past have made nobodies look like superstars.
Yeah.
Like the typical Saints offense would have completions to like 8, 9 guys. He was never someone who just like, okay, Michael Thomas might be their big play guy, or even Alvin Kamara, like a big play guy. But they would, like, part of their approach was just the fact that they would pick you apart with going to all these different guys and even get big plays out of guys you'd never really heard of. So yeah, you can't attribute, there's no reason why he's like, oh, I can only throw over 7 yards if Michael Thomas is on the field. Because the only reason you could say that is if he just doesn't trust his receivers to catch a ball. But you'd think even then they'd be able to design a couple plays where he feels like they're low risk and he can at least take the chance. So I think the real question is here, right? The Saints are also a weird situation in that they have 2 decent backup quarterbacks, because obviously you have Hill, who comes in for snaps at different moments in time, and like when they try and change up their approach slightly.
Cost them the game yesterday.
Yeah, that's one thing. But you've also got Jameis Winston on like there.
Who?
Jameis Winston. Do you remember that guy?
Yes, thank you. Jameis Winston. Yeah, he used to play for the Bucs.
I'm serious right now. I think I'd rather have Jameis Winston out there.
I mean, I would not put Jameis Winston out, all jokes aside. But Yeah. No. The fact that you even made me question that. No, a 41-year-old Drew Brees is still better than that. I just think they need to tell him just throw the ball deep, even if it's not the best.
He's trying,
look.
Frank. He's trying.
He's not trying. They never.
He's just
do
a noodle
it.
arm now.
The concept of a long ball for him is this.
Also, let's not factor in too. He pissed off his entire team with his his.
So do you think they're refusing to run deep?
Maybe.
The Jerry Seinfeld, they're refusing to run.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe they're like, oh, we heard you don't like black guys. Why don't you try having white receivers who are really slow and can't go more than 10 yards?
Unfortunately, the Vikings won't trade Thielman yet.
Exactly. They're desperately trying. They're trying to put together a trade for Edelman, Thielman.
And that's it.
Basically, yeah. They called up Jordy Nelson to see if he's still alive.
Unfortunately, he's got so much CTE, he doesn't understand what a phone call is. The only thing the Saints have going for him is Kamara. He looked crazy good yesterday. I mean, some of it was bad tackling, but some of it was just he can move so quick on his feet and cut so quickly. God, it was that one touchdown run he had was just crazy. He broke 3 tackles, cut around 3 other guys.
Oh, no, Casey, I'm going to disagree with you there. He looked great last night, and he's incredible. His movement and the subtlety in terms of like changing direction and all that kind of stuff.
It's insane.
The speed at which he changes direction, sure. But the one touchdown, I guess you're referring to the like 55-yarder where he kind of went down the left touchline.
Yeah.
That was just terrible tackling. Like there's
the first tackle. The first tackle was terrible.
There's 3
After
missed
that,
tackles.
There's
3 missed tackles.
He's going at a speed that the other guys just can't handle that he's cutting.
They are NFL players. There are 3 guys there who should have made a tackle. So you give them all the credit for keeping going and whatever. Like you still need that ability, right? Like I'm not taking that away from him, but the breakdown of that touchdown is, wow, that's 3 horrific missed tackles. Not, oh, what a play by Alvin Kamara. Like it is a damning indictment. It is a damning indictment of the quality of tackling in the NFL.
Yeah, I'll disagree. I think the first, maybe like 1 or 2 of the tackles, but he had a few that he just stopped on a dime, cut across the right.
Okay,
he had 5. He made 6 people miss that play.
Okay, all right.
My real question is,
with his mind, because he didn't make a miss with his body. I'll put it that way.
No. I said my big question is, I don't understand the teeth. I don't get the grill. Are those real diamonds in his teeth? Like I don't get it. I don't get what a grill actually is.
Is this another do-rag moment?
No. But like, I don't get how do you do they literally just like cover your teeth in diamonds?
Yeah, it's like having a mouth. They take a mold of your teeth, and then it's like getting a retainer basically, but just getting a really fancy retainer.
So okay, so
that's fancy.
No, they're not
that's
really
fancy.
like. Oh, it's crazy! It shines when he's on the sidelines. It shines off his teeth. So it's basically a retainer that you put on.
Yeah, I mean, obviously not a retainer.
It's not like when hockey players get their like permanent fake teeth in. Those aren't permanent.
No.
They're not on his teeth.
I mean, if it's a grill, I don't know in his case, but I think he's just wearing a grill, right? If he's just wearing a grill, it's just like a retainer, like a mouth guard, basically. Okay. But made out of metal and diamonds. Like zero protective quality.
So that can pop on and off whenever.
Yeah.
So he can pop off his diamond grill retainer and just throw it in the stands when they win the Super Bowl.
Exactly, yeah. Some lucky fan.
And why would you want to play with that on?
I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of players, right, who refuse to wear mouth guards because they think it increases their chances of concussions. So it's true.
Which scientifically has been proven wrong.
I don't understand how that would.
So the argument I've heard from multiple players when I've seen it discussed with them, because there's quite a high percentage of the NFL doesn't wear mouth guards. I can get it from some positions, right? But there's positions where they're taking very clear head trauma and they're not wearing mouth guards. And their argument against it is basically that a mouth guard forces your mouth to be open. And so that's going to cause they feel like it causes their jaw to rattle more, so that they're more likely to be concussed, despite the supposed
the vast amount of scientific knowledge otherwise.
Yeah.
It's like baseball players refusing to stop chewing because they don't think that it gives you throat cancer.
Yes. Yeah. But no, you hear about it every year because, like, on Niners Nation, for example, they'll talk about it because, like, a couple Niners every year won't wear mouth guards, and they'll speak to them and ask them about it, and that's basically the argument that all of them use. It's bizarre, but I mean, the only argument I could kind of get from someone is like, look, I think I'm probably going to get CTE anyway, and I think I play better without a mouth guard. So if I'm going to get the head trauma, I may as well make sure my career goes as well
That's such a depressing realization.
Yeah, that is. So getting back to the NFC West, is it clear that the Seahawks are the best team in the NFC West?
Defensively, no.
Wait, let me rephrase it. Is it clear that Russell Wilson is the best team in the NFC West?
Yeah. I mean, so he set an NFL record, right? He's thrown 14 touchdowns through 3 weeks. No quarterback has ever done that before.
Only QB in history to throw 4+ in 3 games.
Three games.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he looks amazing. Their offense looks, and when you think he should have had one more if Metcalf had been an idiot.
Metcalf.
But
I'll tell you what, he just quick side note, he was an absolute idiot for doing that. But that aside, he is just lighting it up. He's a freak. Like, the fact that you have him and Russell Wilson is so good at that deep ball, just having that combo of him just being able to blow by guys and then drop that ball in, it's always a threat. Every play that could happen.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, they look scary offensively. I think the thing I will say is they look frail defensively, shall we say? And
you know that word doesn't do it justice, though. What did they give this time? Over 500 yards to the
I would say porous.
I mean, put it this way. I think if you're a quarterback going into a game against the Seahawks right now, you're basically guaranteed 400 yards. So it's taking record-breaking performances from Russell Wilson for them to just barely win games. Like, it's not like they're blowing these teams out, right? Like, they're one-score games that they're winning, and they're also losing at times in the fourth quarter. So
this could have been the complete opposite for them, right? So they had the goal line stand against the Patriots, and then they had the Prescott interception on the final play. So let's say they both go the other way. The Seahawks, all we're going to be doing is talking about the defensive problems. Yeah,
which it's always one of those interesting things, right? Because they win, everything looks good. Like, winning cures everything, right? And so instead we talk about how amazing Russell Wilson is. But you're right, 100%. If they'd lost those games, it'd been like, well, Seahawks are done because they're horrible defensively. That would be my issue with them. Obviously, I don't think any team would want to play them right now just because Wilson is so scary and playing so well. But I wouldn't trust them in big games, and I wouldn't trust them in the moment. They're obviously going to make the playoffs. I'm not going to trust them in the playoffs. Yeah,
unless they figure it out on defense a little bit. I mean, you have to hold teams under 30. That should, that is a prerequisite for being a good playoff team, is you have to hold them under 30.
I think it's an old saying in the NFL.
Yeah. So kind of just bouncing off to Russell Wilson. Right now, who would you rather have on your team, Russell Wilson or Josh Allen?
Just for this season?
Just like right now, like you're starting a team next week.
I'm taking Russell Wilson over anyone in the league right now. I'm taking him over.
You're starting a team. So am I picking a quarterback for my team franchise going forward? Is that what you're saying, or you're just saying?
No, just for one season.
Just this year.
Now.
You take Wilson right now. Yeah.
But is it closer than you would have thought starting this season?
With who? With Josh Allen specifically?
Yeah.
I don't know why why he is the litmus test of NFL quarterbacks all of a sudden.
Because he's potentially having an MVP year.
I mean,
right now,
I'm going to say
without Josh Allen, the Bills are not 3-0.
Well, Frank, I'm going to say no because I picked them as my dark horse for the Super Bowl. So no, it doesn't surprise me that Josh Allen's having a good year. Because if everyone goes back and listens to our NFL preview, I picked them as my team from the AFC to make the Super Bowl. So,
which is an awful pick, which won't happen, but
maybe not. I mean, I did say almost certainly the Chiefs, but if not the Chiefs, it's the Bills. But so I can't say I went all in on the Josh Allen move. But look, I think Josh Allen's good. I don't think he's ever going to be like a top 5 quarterback. I don't think he's in that range.
Really?
No.
So right now he's at 71% completion, 1,000 yards in 3 games. So that's over 300 yards a game.
Yeah,
10 TDs, 1 interception.
Who have they played?
The Rams that were 2-0, the mighty Dolphins, and the Jets.
Yeah, and exactly. So, I mean, look, if he keeps that up till the end of the year, sure. But I mean, again, it gets back to that moment. If you think they're going to be he's going to be top 5. Right now, my top 5 would have to include Wilson, have to include Mahomes, have to include Lamar Jackson, have to include Aaron Rodgers. So that's 4.
That's 4.
Now the 5th spot, I'm sure I'm probably even forgetting someone else who should be in that discussion. But, no, I'm not going to – I think he's just like that one notch below. He's good enough to win you a Super Bowl. I think he's going to be that good. And he's good enough to be like the reason you win a Super Bowl, which is the real statement. Because to me, that's the difference between like Jimmy Garoppolo and that next level. Like Jimmy Garoppolo is a good enough quarterback to win, for you to win a Super Bowl with having Jimmy Garoppolo on your team. But Jimmy Garoppolo is not going to win you the Super Bowl.
I mean, I think he's number 5 right now. He's a top 5 QB in the NFL right now. If you look at QBR rating, he's sitting at 4th, above Lamar Jackson, and then Mahomes, Wilson, and Rodgers are ahead of him. Then you go, it's like Fitzpatrick, Breeze, Mayfield, Goff, Prescott, Murray, Tannehill, Carr. I take him over any of those guys. Maybe Breeze, but we just talked about Breeze could be done. So, I mean, a top 5 QB, Josh Allen, it's. I would not have predicted that 3 weeks into the year. How about the tie, first tie of the season?
I liked Zach Taylor's quote after that when they said, about Joe Burrow, because he had a pretty solid game. Kind of again, I guess solid is probably the good term. And it's really good when a coach comes out and is like, yeah, he gives us a chance to win. It's like the lack of faith in every single person on that team from the coach, except for one person. I mean, it is quite fun because for the 3 weeks, apart from the tie with the Bengals Chargers, where I went -3 and it was 3. I've picked the Bengals and they've covered the spread. Like in 3 weeks. Like this is the thing, they're losing, but they're losing. They're
not losing; they're tying.
Yeah, they're tying. That's true. But they're covering spreads. It's just quite interesting. Stick with me and the Bengals spreads.
Yeah, I guess the big storyline there too is Burrow did look good. Another pretty solid performance for a team that isn't very good. But what's going on with the Eagles? I guess is a big question. And what's going on with Carson Wentz? Is it time to test out Jalen Hurts? How many more weeks do you go with Carson Wentz, who looks like absolute poop, before you put in Jalen Hurts?
I think it's probably that next week thing, because Wentz has had 6 picks this year. He had 7 in the whole of last year. So something's wrong. And if that's the trend, if that's the trajectory of like what's happening, you got to swap him out quickly for Hurts.
Yeah, and I guess the other thing, too, is not only is he throwing picks, but he's getting sacked like crazy. And granted, that's not all him. Obviously, that's the line, and he's getting some of them he doesn't have a chance. But some of them are on a quarterback for being too slow, not reacting quick enough, not moving out of the pocket, and maybe his knee is starting to get to him a little bit. Maybe he's just never been the same after that injury. So I don't know if you switched on to Jalen Hurts yet, just because who knows what you're getting with Jalen Hurts. He wasn't even technically, I guess, a first-round pick, right? So he wasn't.
Yeah, he's second round, wasn't he?
Yeah, wasn't one of the main guys. You know, it's not like you have Joe Burrow sitting back there who is, you know, potentially the next great QB. You have a guy that was very questionable as to whether he could be an NFL quarterback. And you have Carson Wentz, who was close to an MVP caliber year 2 years ago. So, yeah, they don't look good. But I guess the good thing for them is being 2-1, they're still right in it to win the NFC East. Only one game back.
That's so depressing for that division, right? But the problem for the Eagles is their next game's the 49ers. So for all purposes, like the 49ers have got all these injuries, but they've had a really lucky time of it. Yeah. Like I think the next two games for the 49ers are the Dolphins and the Eagles, and they've just played the Giants and the Jets. It's kind of like, wow, if there's a time to have injuries, they have found it right there. Like with that run of 4 games.
Yeah, they're getting lucky there.
Yeah, it's an ideal matchup. I think going to the Jalen Hurts versus Carson Wentz debate though too. Jalen Hurts got a couple snaps in that game, didn't do a lot, and the only thing of note that he really did was fumble a snap, like fumble a handoff. So,
but at least wasn't an interception.
And well, he did recover it himself, so he didn't turn the ball over. But yeah, it's not a.
So he's got a fumble recovery. He's doing good.
Yeah. He was just boosting his stats. But no, they don't look very good.
Well, neither does the NFC East though. So, and I guess in comparison to the NFC East, you could talk about the Bengals being in the AFC North, and that's a division now that's looking pretty strong. Besides the Bengals, I mean, Pittsburgh's up at 3-0 now. Baltimore's at 2-0 playing Monday night, and then you have Cleveland. The Cleveland Steaming Browns have a winning record for the first time since 2014. Eddie, how excited is the fan base in Cleveland? You have your ear to the ground.
I do, yeah. They don't stop talking about it. It's Super Bowl or bust this year, you know? Like the real question regarding that division, Frank, is when are you going to walk back your Steelers prediction?
I know. I thought about it yesterday. I don't know. I got to see a few more games. I mean, obviously, yes, they're not going to finish last in that division, but I still don't think they're a very good team. I think they're a fringe playoff team.
Are they going to make the playoffs? Are they going to make the playoffs?
I mean, they're 3-0 now, statistically, Eddie, according to the analytics.
Are they, Frank? Are they going to make the playoffs?
Hold on, let me look at their schedule of what they got left, because that was the other issue is they haven't played. I mean, this was their best team that they've played, and it was an 0-2 Texans team.
Well, they got the Titans next.
So far, they haven't played a team that's won a game. So how much?
That's because you play the Steelers, you automatically lose, and it just demoralizes you for the next couple of games.
You're right. The Giants otherwise are a really good team, and the Broncos otherwise are a really good team. So they've got the Titans, Eagles, Browns, Ravens, Cowboys, Bengals coming up in their next 6, 7.
I mean, put it this way, they've got a pretty good chance then of being 5-1, 6-0.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they have a really easy schedule, actually, now that I look at it. The best team they play is the Bills and then the Ravens twice. So it looks like they could make the playoffs, but I'll stick with that they don't for now. Let me see. Ask me again after they play the Titans next week.
Okay, I mean
3-0 versus 3-0.
And then we're gonna.
This would be a good indicator.
And then we'll ask you again of 4-0.
Yeah. I mean, we joked about it last Thursday, right? But we're in a situation here where they're going to make the Super Bowl, and you're going to be like, I'm still not sure that they're good.
Yeah, I'm going to see the Super Bowl, then decide.
Okay, they won the Super Bowl, but can they defend their title?
Let me see them when they play the Chiefs in the AFC Championship, and then I'll let you know if they're good or not. Before we wrap up, I know Sam is a big South Park fan. Did you see the Denver Broncos put the whole South Park population out in the stadium?
Yeah, because at one point I thought they had done the whole stadium and just repeated people, and I was like, that would take too much time. But yeah, it was cool that they did it. It was interesting, but it still looks a little bit strange. I think my problem is ever since that Leeds United thing where they had like pictures of like Bin Laden and stuff like that, I can't look at these cardboard cutouts the same anymore. It just completely weirds me out.
Well, I think it would be strange to see cartoons watching an NFL game in the stands. So I don't think you're really alone in that.
Well, I'm just going to say, South Park, super liberal cartoon. NFL is just getting too left wing for me.
I'm out.
It's time
What's next? Bernie Sanders as commissioner? Is that what's coming?
No, Bernie Sanders is the QB for the Jets.
That might be an upgrade.
He'll be super efficient. Let's put it that way. So let's get to the NBA then. Just to touch base on the Squid versus Eddie round 3, that would be, right?
Yeah, round 3. I won the round because unfortunately for Sam, he went 0 for 2. I went 1 for 2. I'm not really claiming that as a victory because the only one I got right was picking the Lakers to win their series, and that wasn't exactly the boldest prediction in the world. But yeah, it's Lakers Heat in the NBA Finals. Kind of an interesting one, right? From a story. I mean, the NBA was lucky because basically any scenario that didn't involve the Nuggets making the finals was going to be a great story for them because either it was going to be Lakers Celtics, which is obviously kind of the
historic.
Yeah, the most historic matchup in NBA history. Or you're going to get LeBron playing against Miami, one of his former teams, the team he won his first title with. So you get to really...
And then dished when they started to go downhill.
Exactly. You get Spoelstra, who obviously a few people didn't really think was up to it when the big three first arrived in Miami, and now Spoelstra has kind of like cemented his place as one of the best coaches in the NBA.
Wait, Sam didn't pick the Heat?
No, we both picked the Celtics.
Oh, damn. It's unfortunate.
So, I mean, it's going to be a really interesting matchup. A lot of people, we got to get Sam's pick.
Wait, don't get into it yet. Let's get Sam's pick first before you give him any info.
Okay. Sam, who are you taking?
All right, so here's Sam the Squid, here's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for your series winner. And the series final, like how many games are played, what they win in.
All right. So does the format change because it's the final? Are there like more games?
No, it's best out of 7.
Best out of 7.
Okay. And remind me of the teams again.
LA Lakers, Miami.
Great start.
No, I'm just
literally
warming up how ignorant I am about this.
I mean, that's not ignorant. That's just real short-term memory issues because I literally
It's just great squid.
Yeah.
Squids aren't known for their memory.
Yeah. Hey, I had a bad time. I was 0-2. I just need the fact. I just need to
Who
make sure
knew that 2 out of 3 people on this podcast had CTE?
Not me.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get Sam's pick.
Lakers?
Sam the Squid has chosen the Lakers.
5.
So 5 is not a number.
5. No. I was having a stroke as I said it. 5.
Lakers in 5. Okay, Eddie?
I'm going to be totally honest. I wanted to take Lakers in 5 as well. So...
If you take it, then we go to another tiebreaker.
Yeah, I'm going to take it because otherwise I'm like changing the system. So I would have also said Lakers in 5.
Okay, so here's my second.
Such a copycat. It's crazy. You're just following the squid now.
Here's my second tiebreaker. Okay. Out of you're going to say that the Lakers win 4 games, right? Obviously, because they're winning it. Out of the 4 games the Lakers win, how many times do they cover the spread?
How about this? We do 3-2-1 and we both say the number. That way there's no...
Perfect.
How many times do they cover the spread?
Yeah.
How many times do the Lakers cover the spread in the 4 wins they have?
And for context,
right,
Sam,
ready?
I'll just tell Sam because I at least know this. I think the spread for game 1 is 5.5 points.
Okay.
So just to give you an idea of like the numbers you're looking at.
Okay. Got you.
I'm going to say 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go.
2.
4.
Ooh. All right. There we go. That's good.
Okay. So Eddie, you think this will be a bit of a blowout?
No,
basically?
I think the spreads are a little bit too low. Like 5.5 points is not a huge spread. Now, here's the thing: is I effectively could lose the game, this head to head in game 1 if the Lakers win by 4 points. I'm done.
No, 3 would be a tie.
But also the problem is, surely they're just going to keep, if they keep winning against the spread will just keep increasing. So your game 4 is going to be a tough spread.
Well, what I need for them to do is to keep covering the spread, but not blowing them out, right? Like, I don't want them to I don't want them to win by like 20, 15, because then the spread for the next game might be like 12 points.
That's like one of the most selfish gambler things ever. I need my bets to win, but I need them just barely to win so that I can win my future bets as well.
Exactly. Yeah. Why don't the teams understand this? They can't.
Yeah. Let alone I can't even pick a fucking winner.
I'm guessing the Lakers are pretty heavy. What are they to win? Like just outright win?
I think they're 1-3 to win the series.
Wow.
Around that number, between 1-2 and 1-3, but depending on where you're looking. But I as I was saying kind of before we did this, the Heat are actually kind of a popular pick amongst experts who think this is a tough matchup for the Lakers. Because in a way, it's contrasting systems. You got the Lakers who have the big two in Anthony Davis and LeBron James, clearly the two best players in this series. But then the Heat are the better, sort of more well-rounded team. So in a way, you're in this situation of like, are you picking the two superstars, or are you picking the team that has gelled and is playing really well together?
And you're going superstars.
It's the NBA, so I'm going to take the team that has the two best players on the court and has no reason to never have one of them on the court. That's why I never get about when people are like, well, they only got two superstars. It's like, yeah, but if they plan it out perfectly, they have either
40%.
LeBron James. They have either LeBron James or Anthony Davis on the court at all times. Like, there's no reason.
And they should be on for the whole game.
Yeah. I mean, LeBron James is going to play 40 minutes. So it's like, oh, wow, there's going to be a couple minutes when they don't have LeBron James on the court. Wow, that's going to suck. I mean, the crazy thing, right, is LeBron James in this playoffs, I mean, the last series, he was great. He's kind of reaffirmed the fact that he's the best player in the league. And at his age, that's kind of insane.
Yeah. I'll say the most I've watched LeBron James this playoffs was yesterday when I watched Trainwreck for like a good hour. And he had the scene. I love that scene when he talks about Cleveland.
Yeah.
And what's his face is just kind of ripping into him about Cleveland. He's like, what do you mean? It's fun for the whole family.
Cleveland, the home of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the place where Superman was invented.
Yeah, it's fun for the whole city, fun for the whole family. He's like, yeah, but it was Miami.
Yeah, you always used to come and visit me in Miami.
Yeah, he's really funny in that movie. I'll give him credit, and I don't know if it's just because, like, I don't know if it's actual good humor, if he's genuinely funny, or if it's just the idea of LeBron saying these things that makes it funny. And that's the only reason it's like, it'll be interesting to see him in Space Jam to see if can be humorous besides just being LeBron James.
I think he's genuinely kind of funny. At least he's like athlete funny. I also think at least what Trainwreck showed too is he's kind of willing to poke fun at himself, right? Because like he's cheap in the movie, right? About splitting the bills and all that kind of stuff. And
or when he comes back for his sunglasses, he's like, exactly. You found my sunglasses in here? I'm not going to give Sunglass Hut another $35 for a new pair.
And that, I don't know if every professional athlete would necessarily be comfortable like making fun of themselves in that way.
I can give you one who wouldn't. Russell Westbrook would never do that. You know why? Because he's an asshole. I hope we get him on the podcast one day. So besides Sam the Squid, your NBA picks, I know you don't know, but postseason baseball starts tomorrow. And you've got a whole slate of series to pick in baseball.
I know a sweet amount of fuck all in this sport.
All right, real quick. Let's do what we do for every sport. How many players are on the field in baseball?
That seems a little bit tougher, but 12?
No.
Okay. Just judging from your face, I was like, have I nailed it or is it so far off? How many?
9.
okay, it's not ridiculous. Like,
No, you weren't that far off. But obviously, the answer, Sam, was not going to be 45, was it? Like you have actually seen.
I was leaning towards.
Well, he put 25% more players on the field. It's pretty far
it's true.
off.
The margin of error was pretty great.
I tell you what, it was mainly because I didn't know how many people are outside of the bases. Like I've never really
in the
seen,
outfield.
Like in the outfield.
We call
it.
It's the outfield. Same term actually as cricket.
There you go. Okay.
Okay, yeah. So things are kicking off with a new and maybe improved wild card round, Sam. So normally the wild card round is just like a single play-in game for the lowest seed in the playoffs. But this year, because of the shortened season, they expanded the playoffs. And so this year, every team is playing in the wild card, and the series themselves are best of 3. And whereas normally it would just be the single game. So that's kind of all the information you need to know, in the sense that every team that's made the playoffs, all 16 teams, all 16 teams are in the wild card round.
That sounds good. And then they just play best of 3 each time going through. So like 16 and 8.
No, after that it's going to be switched to the best of 7.
Okay.
So this is the only best of 3, and the only interesting thing of this too is right now they're actually playing this wild card round at the home field, all of the games at the home field of the higher seed. And then from this round forward, they're going to bubbles, like semi-bubbles. So from this round on, sort of the AL will be playing their games in LA and San Diego, and the national AL being the American League, and the National League will be playing their games in Houston and Arlington. So just for the idea of AL and NL obviously have historical significance, but fundamentally, as far as you can consider, it's just 2 divisions, and the World Series is the winner of one division against the winner of the other division.
Isn't that pretty similar to American football? Just AFC, NFC, Super Bowl is the...
Yeah, very similar.
Combined.
The only difference being that in baseball, there's slight differences in the rules between the 2 divisions, between the 2 leagues. But we're not going to explain that either. That will only be of importance in the World Series.
Okay. All right. Apart from like really famous teams, anyone else, I will need the city.
No, I'll say the full team names. So let's get underway. We'll start with the American League. You have the number 8. Oh, should I give the seeds?
Oh, don't give the seeds. Start over. Go to a different one.
I'm going to do it in completely.
You can't Men in Black
order,
me.
Obviously
I heard this.
But you don't know what team.
All you heard was number 8. There is an 8 seed.
So. No, but it was just how Frank was saying, like, start over, like he's going to wipe me.
Yeah. So in no particular order in terms of this, all right? Well, I guess I need to... do I even tell you who the home team is? Because you could maybe have...
No.
Nope.
I want as
just mix them up randomly.
Okay, so Minnesota Twins against the Houston Astros.
I've heard of the Astros, so I'm going to go Astros.
Okay, just for clarification... Oh, I won't say yet, because then you can maybe figure out the other seeds accordingly. Okay,
next game, Chicago White Sox against the Oakland Athletics.
The Oakland Athletics sounds like a weird primary school team or something like that. Yeah, let's go for them. let's go for it.
You're going to go for the A's. The Athletics.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one, Cleveland Indians against the New York Yankees.
Wait, why is Cleveland Indians allowed to still be a thing?
Well, let's not get into this. America has decided that Indians, Chiefs, those are all right on the right side of the line. Okay. But the Indians did have to get rid of their Chief Wahoo.
Oh my God.
slash
Chief Wahoo. That is an absolute joke. Okay. Yeah, I'm not backing Cleveland Indians. No.
Okay,
other team.
So the Yankees.
The other
The
team.
other team, the
Yeah,
Yankees.
I didn't hear
The
it
most
because I was obviously
the
still
most famous team in baseball.
I was still talking
you-
about the
you've got-
Indians, but I did hear Yankees. But I
Yeah.
was just too busy talking about the Indians. But yeah, I'm going Yankees.
All right. Toronto Blue Jays, Tampa Bay Rays.
Oh, Toronto.
Okay.
Squid picks Canadians.
That rounds up your American League picks. So we'll do your National League picks, and then kind of maybe I'll make my picks, and Frank can make his picks too. National League: San Diego Padres, St. Louis Cardinals.
The Padres. I'll go Cardinals.
Yeah, too dangerous for a man like you to get involved with a man of the church. Miami Marlins and the Chicago Cubs.
The Cubs.
Atlanta Braves, Cincinnati Reds.
Oh, Cincinnati.
And LA Dodgers, Milwaukee Brewers.
Dodgers.
Interesting. All right, Frank, do you want to do your picks quickly, and then I'll do mine quickly, and then we can discuss, sort of reveal to Sam some of the seedings maybe, and
Okay.
maybe put a little bit of knowledge into it.
Yeah. Well, we can just do that as we go through maybe. So the first one for
Okay.
National League, we have the number 1 seeded LA Dodgers versus number 8 Milwaukee Brewers. I'll go Dodgers, obviously, with this. I think they're the number 1 team in the league, so highest chance to win a World Series percentage.
Yeah, I mean, the Dodgers just have so strong pitching wise. So, yeah, I think we'll go Dodgers there, which means we've gone Dodgers across the board. Next up,
Yeah.
let's
Number
go
2
number
Atlanta
5.
Braves.
Okay, yeah, we'll do it that way.
Number
So, yeah,
2
number
Atlanta
2.
Braves versus number 7 Cincinnati Reds.
Oh, there's my upset.
I'm going to go Braves here. I know a lot of people actually are taking Cincinnati, but I'll stick with the Braves.
I'm going to take the Reds because I think they'll win. I think their pitchers, like for a 3-game series, I think that's a pretty big advantage for them. So I'm going to take the Reds just based on the quality of starts they're going to get for all 3 games, if necessary, right? Because obviously they could just win the first 2.
Yeah. Okay. Number 6 Miami Marlins versus number 3 Chicago Cubs. I'll go Cubs. You got Darvish starting, so I think that's, he's an elite pitcher, so you might get your first win out of that, and you just got to win 2 out of your next 3 there. And they obviously have the stars and like Rizzo and Bryant and all that, so I'll stick with the Cubs there.
I'm also going to go with the Cubs. Some fun facts going into this series, though. This is obviously the rematch of the Bartman series, right?
Oh.
Like this is so Sam, for some context, the Cubs were obviously a team that was said to have been cursed and could never win the World Series. They went over, they go like 103 years, I think, in the end, something around there, before they won the World Series again. And they famously had a fan reach over to catch a ball, and that stopped them from getting an out. And from that moment on, they fell apart in the game and eventually lost the series. And he was booed out of the stadium and then basically booed out of Chicago. He now lives in total anonymity. Like I think he legally changed his name and stuff. Yeah, there's a whole documentary trying to find him, and they identified him. And every once in a while, a few newspapers and stuff will find him, but he refuses to come back out and say like where he lives and what is like the new name he goes under and all that kind of stuff.
What will they do when they find him? Is the plan to like kill him or?
Well, the stunning thing to me was when they did win the World Series a couple years ago, you kind of felt like that was the good opportunity for them to be like, okay, all is forgiven, like curse over. We got there in the end. And I think the Cubs should have done that almost officially, like brought him, like maybe even had him in the parade or something.
In chains.
I don't know if he just, dragging him behind the bus. Tricked him. They were like, hey, hey, Steve, we really want you to be part of the parade. He's like, oh, thanks. It's so great for you guys to welcome me back. And like, yeah. We just want you to put this on. It's just a joke.
Run through him. Just
Tar and feather him. And also, interestingly enough, fun fact about the Cubs this year, only Major League Baseball team not to have a player test positive for COVID.
That's a depressing one.
Yeah, there you go. And final National League Series, St. Louis Cardinals at the San Diego Padres. And
Cardinals 5, Padres 4.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Padres just because Fernando Tatis is like the most exciting player in baseball, and I want to see him get to the next round.
Yeah, I'll go Padres too. Their bullpen, I think I saw a stat, since September 1st has been statistically one of the best in baseball, and everyone knows you need a good bullpen going into the postseason. So especially in a 3-game series, you can't afford to just lose a game right away. So if your starter gets kind of caught on the rocks, you need a bullpen to come in and kind of not let up any more runs to keep it close. So I'll go Padres.
Not the worst one for me to go against them if they're seeded close. But.
Yeah, this is your – so now let's get into the AL. This is your toughest pick here. The number 1 Tampa Bay Rays versus the number 8 seed Toronto Blue Jays.
Once again, the 1v8 in a North American sport where you've backed Canada has backfired.
Although the Canadians were pretty good against the Flyers. It was closer.
Yeah, you nearly.
Yeah, it was close.
It nearly came off.
I'll go the Rays. I'll go the Rays on this one.
Yeah, I'll keep this simple. The Rays look really good this year, so
yeah.
Yeah.
The next series is the number 7 Chicago White Sox at the number 2 Oakland Athletics.
A's.
I mean, I'm an A's fan, and I'm just going to take the A's. I think they have had a really good season, and so yeah, I can't. I'm not going to give too much analysis into it, but I'm not going to. In the round, I'm not going to pick against them.
All right, I figure I have to go and upset eventually, so I'll take the White Sox over the A's here. The White Sox statistically have pretty good hitting. The A's, yeah, they're the 2 seed, but I think their bullpen isn't that great statistically. They weren't that great this year, so I'll take an upset. I'll go White Sox here. Next one is number 6 Houston Astros at number 3 Minnesota Twins. Sam the Squid took another upset here in the Astros. I will not be backing him. I'm going to go with the Twins.
I bet you.
I'm going to be joining him in the upset club here. I just think this says the Astros. Obviously, Sam will have no context for this, but coming right off the heels of their cheating scandal and World Series win the year before, I think baseball is going to get what it deserves, and the Astros are going to stay in the playoffs for a while.
Really just shows the type of person Eddie is.
Wait, how did they
go far to give it to the...
how did they cheat?
Cheat? It's going to be a little bit difficult to explain to you, but basically in baseball, the catcher gives signs to the pitcher so that they agree on which pitch he's going to throw. So in between his legs, he kind of like throws signs with his fingers so that and then the pitcher either shakes it off or throws that pitch. And it's kind of accepted cheating that if you have a base runner on second base, because from there, obviously you can see the catcher, that if you had a base runner on second, you could try and steal signs. And that's sort of tolerated as like a way of cheating within the game that kind of is just exploiting the advantage of having a base runner. That being said, you're not able to steal signs in any other way. And basically what the Astros did was they installed a camera that allowed them to see in between the catcher's legs to steal the signs. Then they had this TV set up like right as you were leaving their dugout where they had people sitting, and those people were then very quickly getting the signs, and then they were banging on a garbage. They were like relaying the sign and banging on a garbage can whenever it was a changeup, so like a slower pitch. And that obviously gave the hitter a huge advantage because he was basically, depending on the pitcher, like he would know if it was going to be a changeup or say a curve, but he basically knew when it was going to be a fastball. So you're just giving you're putting the odds way in the favor of the hitter in that standpoint. There was also a theory that they might even have been sending some hitters out wearing like a buzzer on them, where they were buzzing. They were kind of like sending a signal to them to tell them the signs. That's kind of been unconfirmed. But yeah, basically this
like a buzzer,
this was all revealed after
like a mild electric shock or something like that.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
The idea of someone doing that, getting buzzed and just throwing the bat out of the hands would be
well, that spun out because basically this is one of those times where like the internet really blew this open. Supposedly when you hear baseball players talk about it, kind of everyone sort of knew the Astros were cheating. Like all the other, when you hear players on other teams, it was kind of like an open secret. And you can go back and watch footage now of pitchers either going to extremes where they were changing signals really regularly, or even kind of like abandoning their like previous signals and like implementing like really complicated signal systems. But it kind of got blown up by the internet. Like there's this one guy in particular, John Boy Media, who actually I've spoken about in the past because he does all the lips, like when he reads people's lips when like baseball players get angry. But he also was the one who kind of like put together a lot of these videos and put them on the internet, being like, look, you can hear the bang and it's a change up. And like
he was like isolating specific pitches in like random baseball games and being like, wait, listen for the bang, and then he would just kind of play it over and over again.
Yeah, and like this was after their World Series win, and it took like maybe 2-3 weeks for momentum to really come together. And there was this moment of like, how strict is the punishment going to be? Are the Astros going to be stripped of their World Series win? Like all this kind of debate. And a bunch of teams were pissed off. Well, I mean, they lost the World Series last year. They'd won the World Series the year before, I should say, because they lost to Washington last year, but they'd beaten the Dodgers. For example, the Dodgers were probably the best team in baseball the year before, and they knocked the Dodgers out. So like the Dodgers are really pissed about it because the Dodgers basically feel like they stole a World Series from them. But yeah, no, so it's kind of an interesting one. And in the end, they weren't really punished that severely. Like a bunch of people, a bunch of executives and stuff, and all the coaches lost their jobs. But fundamentally, apart from that, nothing really happened. And so this is going to be the interesting one. And also in the early parts of the season and the preseason, basically opposing teams just threw at the hitters. So they would just peg them with the ball as their like form of individually dishing out punishment. But yeah, now we're going to see if they win the World Series again. I'm sure if, anyone like the commissioner or anyone running baseball, like Major League Baseball, has anything to do with it, and they're going to just hope that the Astros are eliminated from this playoffs as quickly as possible.
Thus, Eddie would like to see them go far.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not going to properly punish them, you deserve to be punished yourself.
All right. And then the last series, number 5, New York Yankees versus number 4, Cleveland Indians. I'm going to go with the Yankees here. I hope they get back into their Bronx Bombers way and just belt a home runs to win this series.
Yeah, this is a tough one because obviously like part of me wants to take the Indians. I've enjoyed quite a few days at Progressive Field. Nice. How could I ever forget buying ice cream, nachos out of a kid's baseball helmet? But that being said,
the funny thing is now that I've looked at it, it's actually a adult-sized normal baseball helmet, but Eddie's head is so big.
I've seen that would make him like dead.
No.
Eddie's head is so massive that it made it seem like a child-sized helmet, but when you put it on me, it was actually big. It was like wobbly on my head. Missy, it covered her whole head. All you could see from Missy was like nose down.
Oh yeah,
but
Missy
Eddie,
looked like
Eddie, it looked like that mini top hat you put on, like when they put on like the frog when he's like dancing.
They put it on a bear. When they put like a hat on a bear. Missy looked like the Darth Vader character from Spaceballs.
Yeah.
Just with the. But no.
When Eddie got it, he was like, "I asked for the adult helmet." And the person was like, "It is the adult helmet, you big head." Really aggressive with them.
They got really aggressive about their sizes.
In fairness, I've got a big head story that relates to Cleveland and a Cleveland Indians hat, but I do not have it from Progressive Field. But yeah, the Yankees are stacked when it comes to their lineup, their batting lineup, and they have Cole from a pitching perspective. So even though they ended the season really badly, I'm going to take the Yankees.
All right, so pencil those in, and we'll check back in at baseball at the end of the first round.
Yeah,
because we won't be talking much about that.
Nope. Next Monday, though, we'll have to make the picks. I guess.
But did you see?
Will be done.
I guess the cool thing, did you see that there's no rest at all? Do you see that? They're like playing straight through.
Yeah.
There's no rest days. It's pretty crazy.
And I think also, too, that's the only nice thing, like I'm not super into baseball. I still enjoy watching it, and I'll watch the World Series and like deciding games in the playoffs and stuff, and occasionally watch it during the regular season, but only when I'm kind of bored and it's nice in the background. It's nice with the playoff approach where the games are like back to back to back, kind of like we've talked about with the other playoff games. You're going to get a game on like during the day that you can put on and watch with like something, you're kind of invested in it because at least it's a playoff game. So at least there's that.
Yeah. So like Tuesday it officially starts, but then Wednesday is the first full slate. And you have a game at basically 12, 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, and 10. Yeah. So if you're a baseball enthusiast, this is your glory day.
I mean, has anyone ever said too much baseball before? I don't think so, but we're going to see if it's
possible. They have when it was a 162 game season.
Yeah.
So before we wrap up, anything else you guys looking to cover?
I mean, I guess there's two major things from the world of sport in a way, from the past, from the weekend. Obviously in the Premier League, you had Manchester City losing to Leicester. Not only losing, but losing 5-2 at home. That
Shout out Jamie Vardy.
Yeah, Jamie Vardy hat trick. Sadly,
he's not listening. He's not listening.
Frank didn't tip the Jamie Vardy +2 this week.
Can't do it every week, or maybe I can. He's just that good.
Yeah, it seems like you probably should have been doing it. I mean, City gave away 3 penalties, all of which were awful penalties. They actually played pretty well for the opening sort of 20 minutes. I mean, they could have easily been up by a few goals. And then they just fell apart. Defensively, they are so bad.
Yeah.
When Guardiola came to England, I was a kind of Guardiola skeptic because I thought the way that he set teams up to play kind of wouldn't work in England with either the pace of counterattacking football or just the physicality that teams would press them with. And he obviously was tremendously successful, but it kind of feels like teams are figuring them out a bit. And that combined with the fact that they also have awful defenders means that, you just can't trust them at the back.
Yeah, that was exactly my point. I think that game in particular was an example of them getting found out. I mean, Leicester are already a really good team at counter-attacking, but 3 penalties, and they were just bad penalties to give away. It was just really basic from a team that we were tipping up to be, 90 plus points, etc. It was such a weird game to watch.
They're also about to, right? They're bringing in Diaz from Benfica for 60 million pounds as another central defender, which will take Guardiola's spending on defenders to over 400 million pounds since he's gone to Manchester City.
Wow. That's crazy.
Wow. Yeah. And I don't know if he has a good one yet. I mean, I guess that's a little bit harsh because Laporte is good, but with the exception of Laporte, it's just difficult to see. I mean, he's wasted so much money on fullbacks, and basically all he has is fullbacks that are quite good going forward but can't defend. And I mean, they desperately need a partner for Laporte, and they need Laporte to be fit and healthy and available.
Yeah.
So, but in a way too. When away too, right? We touched on when Liverpool didn't look good against Leeds, and sort of we said, the thing that worried me in a way is that Liverpool will not look good and they find a way to win. And then City yesterday looked good for a little bit, then looked awful, and they were absolutely hammered. So for their prospects of winning the league,
I mean,
you don't want to overreact after what is 2 league games for them, but it's not a great sign.
Yeah, I mean, this batch of Premier League games has just been weird overall. I mean, the West Brom Chelsea 3-3 was the first draw of the Premier League. And what was that, like the 19th game maybe, or something like that? Whatever it was. And
it was the West Brom Chelsea match of all the games you're going to predict for the draw.
Yeah. But then also, like, home teams weren't winning. They were conceding constantly. And that was interesting because a lot of people were saying that the reason that's happening is because home teams just have no advantage anymore. But that doesn't mean that away teams should be pounding them as much as they are. It's strange that people are just leaking goals at the moment. And I think the playing at home has no effect anymore. You don't really have this fortress mentality, which is why Leicester can go and spank Man City, with 5. And you're seeing all these away teams at the moment scoring 3 goals pretty easily. It's, I think you're going to start to see those over 2.5 odds on Bet365, etc. start really coming in.
I also think the other issue too, right, is just the lack of a preseason. And so in particular for a team like City, this is their preseason now. So the fact that they've had to kick their preseason off with a match against Wolves and then playing Leicester, 2 top 8 teams, it's not exactly how you want to try and find your feet. And then you're having to play maybe players. I mean, they've had to play players not in their ideal positions, or they're missing key players in big areas of the field. And it's just not, I'm sure they'll get better. So I think some people are overreacting a little bit to it by saying, like, oh, wow, City look bad. It's like, well, it's just one result against Leicester look good this year. So
we'll look back and it won't mean much. It might be the reason they lose the title or something like that, but ultimately it's a freak result at the start of the season. One thing that did was Man U looked terrible again.
But I think Man United, right, too. It's the same with City. United are going through their preseason right now as well. At least the teams that didn't play European football in August, they got to get they were together a little bit beforehand. They played some more preseason matches. These United and City players have basically, sort of had a quick break after playing European football, and now they're right back at it.
But Man City looked good against Wolves. I think it's just a really erratic football season at the moment. It's just confusing. People are scoring goals for fun. Funnily enough, the Sheffield United Leeds game, so the Yorkshire derby, obviously sounded terrible on paper, and everyone was like, you really needed fans for that to be any sort of interesting derby for anyone. And it kind of showed, really. I mean, that was pretty poor. But the interesting one for me is Chelsea as well, because obviously they were applauded for their 3-1 win or whatever it was against Brighton at the start of the season, saying, oh, this is excellent, this is exactly it. And they've had 2 really bad performances in the last couple of games. So a lot of people are now overreacting about the fact that Chelsea now have bought too many players and they're not gelling, and they don't really have that identity of team roles and individual roles. And so now people are obviously saying that Chelsea are going to have a terrible season.
Yeah, I mean, and even people just analyzing the people they have bought, right? Like Havertz, who's not been off to a quick start, people are saying is a flop, and that he's not good enough for the Premier League, which 3 matches in, it's just so silly. There's the number of players who have a bad, even full first season and then fine form. The interesting thing with Chelsea is going to be Abramovich does not give managers long. So if they do have a bad run of 10, 15 matches, is Lampard gone, even though he's the sort of Chelsea golden boy?
I think with the money, that's going to add more pressure. That'll give him less games.
Yeah, I don't see him being fired unless how poorly is poorly?
Say if they are 6th, even if they're just 6th and clearly not top 4 midway through the season. He wants Champions League football. Just to accept that he spent all that money and they're not even getting top 4.
I would say as a minimum, they have to win 10 of those 15 games, maybe even more. Like, that's the kind of pressure that I think Lampard probably has now, because it's all well and good having this kind of like, so Arsenal this season can say like Arteta first season, you can kind of give them that, but Lampard had that, and he's then just gone out and spent like 300 million. I think they kind of he has to deliver now, really, in a way, with that kind of level of signing. The only guarantee in the Premier League is Fulham are 100% getting relegated.
Yeah, I mean, I think even West Brom, the fact that they blew a 3-0 lead is not a good sign for them. I also thought it was interesting. I was sort of looking at the live odds. They were 3-0 up with, I don't know, when did Chelsea score their first goal? Half an hour to go, something like that?
It was like 55 minutes or something, yeah.
Yeah, West Brom were like 1-5 to win just before the goal went in. So the level of confidence that they weren't going to concede 3 goals was not high. I mean, when Chelsea pegged it back to 3-2, Chelsea went like 1-2 favorites to win the match. So that was to score 2 goals in 10 minutes or whatever.
I mean, the difference here, though, is at least West Brom, if they're going to get relegated, which they probably will, at least they're scoring goals. Like, Fulham don't look like they're going to score more than 1 a game at the moment, apart from that Leeds crazy comeback.
1 a month.
For 20 minutes.
Yeah. And the other big talking point from the weekend was Newcastle's late penalty against Spurs, and another incident where VAR intervened, and it is a accurate interpretation of the handball law as it is written now. But to me, it just becomes more and more clear every week that handball law is totally ludicrous and has to be changed.
Yeah. Did you see it, Frank?
Yeah, I did.
I mean, he's not even. It's not only that he's not looking because he's like maybe like at a slight angle or something like that. He literally is looking the other way.
Not only is he looking the other way, but it wasn't as if the ball was kicked to him and he wasn't looking the other way. I mean, it's a header right next to him. Even if he was looking, how much time do you even have to react if you were watching what happened?
Yeah.
It was right there.
Well, you had
the fact that he's right there and he's not looking, it's impossible.
You had the one in the Palace United game too, where the ball was kicked onto, I think it was Lindelof's hand from point blank range, and also given a penalty, and his arm was just in a natural running position. I mean, honestly, if I were a Premier League manager at this point, I would start to instruct my players, if you get in the penalty area, aim for arms. Because from point blank range, if you see someone's hand a little bit out now, obviously that's kind of hard to do. But the logic of just smashing the ball into groups of players, thinking, look, if someone just happens, because it can deflect off multiple people and clip a hand, and there you go, you've got yourself a penalty. So, I mean, Sam Allardyce must be thinking, gosh, these laws are perfect for my angel passes and my old school tactics.
Yeah, but this VAR is a joke. And the thing is, like, both of those 100% wouldn't have been given without VAR. They would have been the accidental, like ball to hand kind of thing. And they just wouldn't have been given. And now we're just doing this very literal thing where if it flicks off your hand, or what annoyed me about the Man U one was that when they were showing the VAR, they had condensed it to the point where it didn't show Lindelof running. It looks like he's lifting his arm. Yeah. So I actually think that they're cutting the video length to a point where it's actually influencing the decision. Like,
I'm a big believer
2 seconds beforehand, he's running.
I'm a big believer that in slow motion replays in every sport, the people watching them should only be allowed to watch them in real time. Because I think that once you slow things down, everything looks worse. You start to be able to think, like you watch this slow motion replay of a handball and you think, oh, he's moved his hand. And you've forgotten the fact that, no, that ball was kicked from 3 meters away from him and the ball has literally arrived on him in a split second. Or even in football, the same, like American football, the same idea sometimes. With
pass interference was a big one.
And you're like, this is a split second. Or a guy maybe even like roughing the passer, all these sorts of things. Even sometimes the helmet to helmet contact where like a player has like started to slide and the guy's going in for a tackle at what it would have been a normal height, but now he's sliding, he had to somehow pull up. And you're just like, there are these moments where you need to see it in real time. And obviously there's plenty of, offenses in real time, but it's just one of those moments where like, if it's not clear and obvious at full speed, just leave it.
Yeah, I think the only time you should ever be able to slow down is if you're looking at like a position of something. For instance, like did the ball cross the line or is the player offside? Something like that. It's the only time you should be able to slow it down for that instantaneous, like at that point.
But also what it's doing is it's bringing in that annoying like player screaming for everything, because there's no consistency with referees going too far in the first place. And so all you're going to do now is the second you think it's someone's hand, every single player just goes up, starts screaming for VAR, and the referee might be peer pressured into reviewing it. And then you're like, great, it hit his arm. It doesn't matter anymore. It's a penalty. So it's going to bring in a real nasty thing.
And also the bad thing too is, says someone like me who watches championship level football, which doesn't have VAR, you still see that kind of trickling down into the way people play. So you'll see an incident and then everyone's screaming for handball, and you're just like, it obviously wasn't handball. Like the referee is not going to award this, but because they, either they've played in a league or in a tournament that has VAR, so that's kind of they've thought of doing it. You've now got people doing it in a way where it's like, well, no, obviously in a normal match, under normal circumstances, this would not be awarded. It might also be worth us saying, just because, once again, we've got a live event going on whilst we're doing this.
I've just seen it.
Liverpool have gone 3-1 up against Arsenal, so...
Yeah, it's pretty incredible that this game hasn't been like 7-3. Liverpool have just dominated. It's been crazy. But I'll take credit to Arsenal here that they didn't concede 5 like they usually do.
Well, it's the start, too. Remember we said... this was the litmus test of the Duke of Curse on the shoes. And first up, they have been absolutely smashed.
Yeah. So
that encouraging. And meanwhile, as I pointed out to Frank has jumped ship and abandoned Blackburn, right? Up until now, he'd been wearing a Bradley Dack shirt.
Oh, I didn't abandon Blackburn. I actually check in on every match. That apparently Blackburn doesn't have their own sponsor deals to make custom shoes. You need to get out of the fucking lower divisions to get shoe deals.
I think they probably didn't even realize that was a thing. That's the issue. Because to be perfectly honest, until you bought them, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, collaborations I didn't know were a thing. Like I saw it on Arsenal's Instagram, and then all of a sudden you were like, I've got some shoes being shipped. I was like, what?
Yeah, no, but Blackburn going from strength to strength, top goal scorers in the championship, to impressive victories, 2 clean sheets on the bounce. Adam Armstrong, top goal scorer. Just could this be the year that Rovers find their way back to the Premier League?
Do you think so?
Nice.
Coming into the season, I did not think that their chances of promotion were very high, and that's coming off. I mean, they weren't too far off the playoffs last season, and if they hadn't had injuries to Bradley Dack and Lewis Holtby at the back end of the season, I think they would have been in the playoffs. I think just if Bradley Dack had been fit for the second half of the season, they would have made the playoffs. Not gone up.
If Bradley Dack had been fit all season, they might have made the playoffs.
Yeah, that's true. That being said, the football they're playing now, I mean, it's 3 matches, right? So I don't want to overreact.
Yeah, and you lost one of them.
Yeah, but to Bournemouth in a very good, close match, and you have to assume that Bournemouth are a top 6 team. And also, I'll throw in the League Cup match against Newcastle, in which Newcastle also they won 1-0, so or 2-1. 2-1. Anyway, won by a goal. The style of football they're playing is just much, much better. Lewis Holtby is suddenly playing in a central midfield role in a way that he hadn't been used before. And he's gone from looking like a sort of medium, sort of average championship quality player to now the player who was once playing for Spurs and playing Champions League football. I mean, he looks. Blackburn's Rover supporters are excited about it. He looks like a new version of Two Guy, and he put on his Instagram because Lewis Holtby likes eating. His favorite restaurant in Manchester is this Turkish restaurant. He goes and eats there several times a week, and he always posts the food that he gets from there. And obviously, he's noticed that some Blackburn Rovers supporters have started saying that he's reminding them of Two Guy. So this week when he went to...
Because he's eating Turkish food.
No, that isn't why he reminds his style.
Oh my God, I know someone that ate Turkish food.
You moron. No, his style of play is kind of reminding them of that. So he went and ate at the Turkish restaurant on yesterday. And then he said, "Oh, that meal's got me feeling like..." And then he posted a picture of Two Guy afterwards. So he's obviously heard the comparisons.
Nice. Like the stereotypical links. It's good.
Well, Blackburn have a strong, Blackburn have had several Turkish players. It's not just Two Guy. Had Hakan Ünsal, who is most famous for being the player, the left back that kicked the ball at Rivaldo in the 2002 World Cup.
Oh, with the dive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they had Hakan Ünsal, and they also had Hakan Sukar for a while.
I knew about Hakan Sukar.
So as far as Premier League teams with Turkish ties, Blackburn are probably the number one.
So they're your Turkish delights, are they, Eddie?
Well, that's what Two Guy was always called. And I've got two other items on the agenda. One, I've got a little quiz question for you, just a quick one. This weekend saw Ryan Moore win his first career race at a certain race course in the United Kingdom.
Musselburgh.
Oh, damn. Frank is correct.
What a shit course that is up in Scotland.
Yep. And he won on a 1-4 shot.
Also, well done for calling it Musselburgh as well, not Musselburgh. As an American.
Oh, Edinburgh.
Yeah, Edinburgh.
I enjoyed my holiday in Edinburgh.
I love it. It just sounds nasty, Musselburgh.
Yeah.
And
that popped up all over my Instagram, Eddie.
Wow,
being the huge Ryan Moore fan I am, I get alerts when Ryan Moore does something spectacular.
Well, like winning at Musselburgh.
or talks.
Yeah. I don't want to any interview I get instantly sent to my email.
When he holds a conversation, you get a Twitter alert.
Yep.
And the only other major topic, obviously we kind of spoke about it a little bit, but the French Open is underway. Under unusual conditions that several of the players are not really enjoying, because obviously it's normally played in sort of May, June, early summer, and now being played in late summer, early autumn, fall, and players are complaining about the cold. And
poor players.
Oh, they wanted their nice time in France.
They've all complained about it. And also, they've changed the balls. They're using a new Wilson ball for the French Open.
Bowling balls.
Yeah. It is interesting to watch, though, because the thing is, clay court season normally is played, it's a summer season, like spring, summer season. It's normally played in hot conditions in hot locations for the most part. And it's interesting because the damper, colder conditions do mean that the ball is traveling much more slowly. It's noticeable to see the difference on a surface that already you get long rallies.
I did see that longest match. What was it? The 6-hour match?
Yeah.
And what was impressive about that was it was 6 hours long, but the first set was 6 love.
Yeah.
Like, how long was that final set when you had a breezed through first set?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting, right? Because Nadal, for Nadal, these are not ideal conditions for him, because for a player putting sort of heavy topspin on the ball, which is kind of the real thing, Nadal's forehand on clay is so deadly, and now you're putting him in a situation where the damp and moist conditions, I mean, he's not going to get quite the same action off the ball. So it's if Nadal has ever been really vulnerable at Roland Garros, this is the most vulnerable that he's going to be. So it is going to be interesting to see, if he's still
Nadal is at his most vulnerable when it's moist. Is that,
team going to take it?
Did I sum up what you just said properly?
Yeah, there we go. That's the headline. And
Nadal concerned, it's moist.
it's 11 o'clock right now, local time for me, right? And they're still playing. So they are, because they're playing under lights and they've got the new covered stadium stands. So they're just going to pack these matches in conditions that probably players, don't normally want to be playing at 11:30 midnight, with relatively quick turnarounds in Grand Slams and tennis. So it is going to be interesting to see. But Nadal's favorite, Halep's favorite, and on the women's side, Frank's old favorite. So
Simona. Yeah, I think you have to stick with the favorites. Well, especially Nadal. I mean, I couldn't go against Nadal until otherwise.
Yeah, I think you're brave. Until he loses, until he really looks. Now, maybe over the course of the tournament, maybe he'll start to look, sort of more beatable, and that might change my mind, because obviously you're not going to see him lose before the quarterfinals or semifinals anyway. He's not going to lose to a sort of relatively low-seeded player. That's never going to happen. Well, I say, it would be a real stunner. So he might be worth taking on maybe in the semifinal or the final if he's not looking great. Halep, the women's side's always a little bit tougher because you don't have that kind of same dominant force as you do with Nadal. But Halep won 2 of the warm-up clay tournaments in the build-up to this. So she deserves her place as favorite. But you never know. Anyone could win it on the women's side. And obviously Serena Williams is chasing. The interesting one here is if Nadal wins it, he ties Federer with 20 Grand Slam titles. So that's kind of an interesting one. If he doesn't win this one, it starts to become difficult to see him maybe overtaking Federer.
I think it's crazy that you have that stat and they played at the same time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's crazy to me that they've each won so many majors or Grand Slams, but like at the same, with still competing against each other, right? And I guess you even have Djokovic in there for a decent amount of it.
Yeah,
so
and Andy Murray, one of you. I mean, Andy Murray's the big loser in that equation, because in another era,
he's just a loser in general.
But in another era, Andy Murray would have won several more Grand Slams, and players like Wawrinka and stuff. Like, there's people who would sit there and think in another era they would have really had a very different looking career.
Yeah, Djokovic being hard court specialist, that ties up US and Australia, and then Federer being grass court, Nadal being clay. Like, Murray was just kind of unable to crack either one of those kind of kings of those kind of courts. So,
but I guess we'll see what happens. We'll be able to maybe take a closer look at that, as well as our NFL picks on Thursday, and
our ARC
preview.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, boys, good night and good luck.
See ya.
cheerio.